Are we live? I believe we are. Just I will be checking that we are actually live because usually I have problems when starting the stream. There is always a problem starting the stream. Yeah, perfect. I mean, I can hear myself. This is working. You can see my screen. So welcome to this stream where I'll be testing more about the preview version of the 5.7 release of the engine. And I'll be using code. I'll be using Rider. Where is it? Here it is. And I will be also using this BS agent with RU code that connects with my OpenAI ChatGPT subscriptions, just so I don't need to spend my money in some tokens, right? So the main objective of this stream is to make a game. I mean, making a game will be not that much hard, but it will be um, more of a long process if you just think about it. So at least my goal for today is making a character that can move around and can actually do something in the game. The game that I'll be making is just a simple game where you're a mage. You can point, click on the map, and then there will be a fireball that shoots out in the direction you have clicked. Super simple. The idea is to have 2 players or more battle in a simple arena. So for that, I think we can do it in one session. I mean, maybe not all of it, but at least I should have something moving around and shooting fireballs. If you want to ask anything, you can leave it in the chat, and if for whatever reason your question is too big, then I won't be able to stop what I'm doing unless you follow the goal. Then for sure I will stop what I'm doing. If you leave us a super chat, then of course. But yeah, let's start. I know I did a video recently where I'm testing all the AI stuff, which I believe I don't have it enabled here. Here's the AI assistant. I mean, for the start, I'm not really going to use it because I do know how I want to structure this project. And as you can see, it's a blank project, a completely blank project. So we are really starting from scratch. I will need a character, so the first thing I will be adding from the Fab marketplace is the actual mannequin. So let's search for it. This one, mannequin asset pack. I should have, okay, I do not have it downloaded. I thought I already had downloaded it, but it will be super fast. And it's the classic mannequin, just so I don't need to import the whole project or template project that Unreal already gives me. Right, so I will need a character. So the way that I'm gonna program this will be a mix between C++ and blueprints. So I'm going to be creating a lot of base C++ classes and then modifying them or tweaking them in blueprints. So let's just go to new C++ class. Let's select a character. Let's call it I'll just give this identifier to my character, like WLK. I mean, we're talking about warlocks battling each other, so yeah, why not? Well, character, let's call it main character, or could be player character. Yeah, I guess, yeah, makes sense. Player character. Create class, and let it do its thing. If at any point, I mean, I need to ask a question to the AI, I'll try to make it as interactive as it can be. So let's just not worry about it. Okay, we have the character. Once it's created, to be able to see it here or to be able to use it in blueprints, we actually need to compile through the live coding plugin, and super fast. Unreal really has come a long way for C++ programmer to feel really at home. Otherwise, you will need to close the engine and rebuild everything from scratch. Okay, so fab finished. We have the mannequin. What I want to do now is create a folder for my project, which I'm calling Warlock. And also, let's create a folder called core, where I will store all my core classes. Inside of it, there will be a folder called framework. And here I could put probably my main character. Let me just create a folder for players, or just player. And here, let me create the actual class that I will be using. Let's just call it blueprint player character. I have my character here. Let's set up the mesh. Let me just anchor this here. Let's just use queen, because why not? Position this. And I'll worry about the details. Okay, making the character fit the capsule. I mean, whenever you're prototyping, my best advice is just do it. Let's focus on something, look at what should be your main task, and then just do it. Because you waste a lot of time trying to get it perfect. Like, okay, maybe I want this to cover exactly where my character is. Okay, let's go to the left view and let's try to make it fit. Right? Because this is not perfect. Don't waste time. As long as it's working, it's a prototype. You're using this prototype to build something and to test if your idea is fun or not. So, I mean, if it's a little imperfect, it doesn't matter. Unless we're talking about a core mechanic, like, then you can actually take a lot more time tweaking and polishing. Hay una pregunta: ¿de dónde eres? De Perú. Así que si mi inglés no es tan bueno, bueno, ¿qué se puede hacer? Pero hay más público en inglés. There's more people that understand English, so that's why I'm actually streaming in English. Right, so we have the character. I'm not gonna add a camera here because I want to also use whatever is new with Unreal. This is just a test project. So I'm gonna be using the gameplay camera stuff. Here I'll just add the animation blueprint to have something that looks all right. I want to also make my character appear, so let's also create a class for my game mode. Because it's gonna be a multiplayer game, I'm not gonna use the game mode base. I'm just going to use a game mode. It already have stuff for sessions and some transitions, right? So game mode. This will be, and it should have been everything, yeah, like this. I should have used all caps in the previous class. It's okay. It won't kill me. Oh, another Peruvian. That's great. Oh, if you're in Peru, probably, or if you haven't, do check the community, the Unreal community, the official Unreal community in Peru. I'm leading that one. So every once in a while we have an event. There's also Kurt Cobain. Hi. Well, hello to you, good sir. Hopefully nothing bad happens to you in the future. Right, so we created the game mode in C++. I do need to compile it. And while it finished in my framework folder, let's just add the class for the game mode that we created. Here it is. Let's just call it blueprint game mode. If for whatever reason in the future I add more types of game modes, like, okay, probably this game will be just deathmatch, but then we could also add a type of King of the Hill. I mean, it's easy to just create another class and choose the parent class that I will be implementing in C++. So yeah, game mode. Let's make sure to use it in this level. This level is not my final level, so I'll just override it here. If you do want to use it for every level, because if I don't mention this, then people will say that I'm teaching bad practices. Okay, let's go to project settings, maps and modes. Let's choose our game mode. And that's pretty much it for now. Yeah, for now. Later on, we will change the map whenever we are actually testing the game. Right. We have this. We just need to go here in my game mode, select my default pawn class, and let's choose not this one, because this one is the C++ one. Let's use the blueprints one. Now, I'm setting it here in blueprints because in C++ I cannot see what has been created in blueprints. I would need to actually hard code the path, but I hate doing that. I really don't like to do that, and it just means that with a path hard coded, if later on here in the content drawer I change the name or I change the location, then I would need to go back in C++ to change it. Also in the code, which I mean is a nightmare. So that's why I'm setting it up here. If we press play, we should have a character. And if we can't see it, is because the camera is right on its face. So here it is. Now let's talk about the camera. I want a top-down camera for this game. Oh, and let me check the chat. Hey, what's up? I wanted to know if 5.7 was officially out or is just a preview. It's just a preview. Yeah, it's still not out. We're still in preview in preview 1, dude. So it's gonna be at least another 1 or maybe 3 months between that amount of time. It says, bro, why Unreal 5.7 not showing in the library to download it? That's weird. I mean, for sure, it's there. Just make sure. Do I have it open? Make sure to click here on the plus and you will see more engine versions. And here you will find the preview version of this that I'm using right now. Right. So camera, let's talk about the camera. It's a top-down camera. The classic way to create it here is just select your capsule component, add the spring arm, and add the camera there. I want to test new things here. So let's go to plugins. Let's search for gameplay, camera, which, oh, it's already enabled. Perfect. So let's create our camera. In player, I'll just add a new folder, cameras. And here, let's go to gameplay. And we have these assets for the camera. So the way the gameplay camera system works, you will have a camera asset. Inside of it, you can have different types of camera with different types of transitions. These different types of camera are called camera rigs. And you can decide how you can interchange between any type of camera. just by using that camera director, which, yeah, it can be a blueprint and it can also be a state tree. Will just keep things simple by using the blueprints. So yeah. So camera asset, what I need. Am I going to change the camera? Maybe, maybe not. But I want to keep myself open to the possibilities. So blueprint camera. This will be my. This is, yeah, camera asset player cameras. Perfect. We have this here. We have an evaluator class, and if we don't feel that the evaluator class is not going to compile, so let's add it. It's inside Warlock player cameras, and let's just call it camera director evaluator. And player cameras. There we have it. We have the blueprint that will be actually setting up which camera to use. And we need the actual cameras because this asset will be in charge of choosing which camera to use. And just give me a second. I'm receiving a phone call. Okay. With that, we were talking about the gameplay cameras. We created the director evaluator. And we need to actually create the cameras because right now this camera asset doesn't have any type of camera in it. If you see here, you will find like, hey, this camera director isn't using any camera rig. And before I do that, let me just increase a little bit the text, just so it's easier to read. So to create a camera rig, very simple, right click, gameplay, camera rig. And just take in consideration, if you just enter the stream, this is not a tutorial, this is just me developing a game, showing you how it can be done. But it will not be a step-by-step tutorial, otherwise I won't finish, never. Well, I won't finish at all. Yeah, I just used a double negative there. Okay, new camera rig, let's just call it top down. Inside of it, we have this node. I just need to define which type of camera do I want. So here, if we wanted something like the spring arm we have in Blueprint, there exists something called the boom arm. This boom arm, I just need to set up the offset, maybe minus 500, could be. Yeah, let's go with that. Right? We have the camera. We just need to use it in my player character. So I'm gonna add a camera, gameplay camera. Here it is. Set it up as my player camera. And then, okay, something happened. Not exactly what I wanted, but the camera exists. If I just search for it here, we can find it here. Well, the manager. Now, to actually use it, because it didn't actually use the camera, I forgot that we do need to first use it here. So let's just activate camera rig. The camera rig here will be the top down, and that's pretty much it. And also here in the gameplay camera, let's make sure that it's auto activated, and let's just auto activate it for my player 0. If I do this auto activation, probably I won't need to do it here in the evaluator, but let's just try it. There we have the camera. And because I'm learning, let me just try to delete this and see if I was right. No, I'm not, I was not right at all. Okay, so we do need this here. Great. We have the camera, we have the player. Right now it's not actually a top-down camera, so we need to add some rotation. So let me just, in the camera rig, add a sequence node. And here, let me just rotate. And yeah, we can maybe minus 60. Let's test it. Nope, nope. Or was it here? If this doesn't work, I will be okay. I'm guessing it's because right now it's following the control rotation of my player. So let me just put here. Oh, driven control rotation. Oh, there are a lot of more stuff here in the 5.7. I'll just put the input axis, and I won't bind it to anything. Now it works. Not exactly like I expected. Again, I'm learning this new system. Yeah, so this rotation won't work. What probably will work when I was playing around here is just clamping the Y. And here I'll just put minus 60 and minus 60. And there it is. Oh, that's very interesting. I didn't close this. Does this work like this? I mean, would be great to see it during runtime. Where is my input? Let's say minus 70 and minus 70. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Minus 50 maybe? I believe minus 60 was good for me. Yeah. Like this, and if I can change this, oh, this is great. If I can change it like this, perfect. Minus 70. Oops. That's actually great. Minus 55. Okay. I'm loving it. I'm definitely loving it. Right, so we have the camera. Right now it's not following anything. That's great. Let's add the movement of my character. For this, there are a lot of ways to do it. I find it very easy to just do the setup in blueprints. I mean, we could also do it in C++ if someone wants it and asks for it. Let's see if I... where can I meet the Unreal community in Peru? Oh, let me... It's very simple, actually. Unreal has this community page, communities.unrealengine.com. Here you can search your city and see if there's a community there or if there are events there. Let's say you're in Lima. We have Lima, Peru, where I'm based. And okay, right now there's not an event because I have not planned it, but you can enter Latin America. You can enter actually the page. You can join. You can be notified, and if we have an event, you will get an email saying, "Hey, there's an event," and there's a Discord group also if you would like to join us. Is there another? Bro, I'm happy that I find your channel. Well, thanks. I thank God that you're not an Indian. Okay. Weird. I mean, the Spanish people came to Latin America and thought we were Indians. So, yeah. Love the beats. Keep the. So, yeah, it's kind of flatter, but I will need to check where you're coming from. But yeah, if you're liking the videos, that's great. That's awesome. For me, that's awesome. Okay, so movement. Let's use the enhanced input system, which is now the default. It will be inside the player. Let's add the input folder. Let's go with input. I will need a mapping context, so let's just add a mapping context for the player. Let's just call it player for now. If we need more details later, we can always change it. That's the beauty of prototyping. And let me just put myself into actual programmer mode. Or no, whenever we touch C++, I'll actually go enter into programmer mode. Input actions. So what do we need? What do we want? We want the input action for the movement. We do need axis to D because WASD, we can move forward and we can move to the sides, or if we are using a thumbstick, then also we can do it like that. And yeah, for now, this is the only action that I will need. In the mapping context, I'll select my... Oh, this was not it. It was default mapping context. There we go. We don't want to override anything just yet. Movement. And here, I want the W, which should be fine like this. I want the S, which I do need to modify and negate. I need the D. And because we are using a 2D type of input, by default, every input that I put here, especially if it's a key, if it's a key press, it's going to default to the positive x-axis. So W is going to be, x-axis, I mean, not in the world, but in terms of the input. I think it could be a bit confusing. But yeah, I need to change the axis for the D because the D I want to move to the right. So here, modifier, I will need to swizzle the input axis values. By default, this one is okay. It's going to put the y-axis in the front. And here in A, it will be the same, the swizzle. And we need to negate it because it's negative, the negative position. And just so I don't forget, because I always forget, if I want to use a gamepad, left thumbstick to the axis, that's okay. Yeah, so we have the mapping context that we can use. We want to add this mapping context in the player controller. Okay, so let's create a class for the player controller. Let's go to new C++ class. We should have a player controller here. Next, let's just call it warlock create class. Again, we are going to compile uh, hot reload, or well, live coding. I mean, hot reload, I believe they dropped that term a while ago. Save everything. Save the map. Let's not save the map just yet. And let's create framework. I mean, it's part of the player, so let's create the blueprint class, player controller, blueprint player controller. We do need to use it in my game mode, so let's edit my game mode. And here in the player controller, let's use my player controller, which I gave it a name with two. There we go. There we go. With two uppercase letters. Okay, now we're using the player controller, and let's actually use some C++ just so everyone knows that I'm a real coder, that I can code in C++. We do not have C++ types of tutorials in the channel. I would love to create some content in C++. We have wanted to keep it super easily approached, and our tutorials that deals with the environments are like the most popular ones. So I think that if I start pumping out any type of C++ content, maybe subscribers will run away. So I'm just on the fence. And let me see the chat. It says, I followed your landscape tutorial. It was really helpful. Can you make another one for 5.7? For sure. Landscape tutorials, as I was telling you about, are really popular in this channel. And Mao is the one that does it. He also live streams here every once in a while. Last live stream he did was about a fortress. You should check it out. And it says, I'm having issues to run Unreal on my PC. I have tried all minor versions available in the hub. I also updated the drivers, but it didn't work. After a few minutes, the engine just crashes. You will need to look if the crash is due to the graphics card or if you're running out of memory. I mean, the first thing you should do actually is change the scalability settings, which they always change locations here. You could just choose auto and it will do like a little test of which settings you should use, or just start at low and everything will run even faster, or should run even faster. I don't know why I'm running slower. Oh no, I was running faster actually. Yeah. I'm using Windows 10 in the. Kansari say hi guys, hey. Hopefully you're having a good. Is it Sunday? Yeah, a good Sunday. So yeah, let's do it in code. Let's actually add the mapping context in C++, just so I can test also, because this stream is full of tests. Rider with the codex. Here in this panel, I can ask codex some questions, and I really don't want it to. Okay, let's just try it. Let's just try it and see if the code that it's giving me it's actually useful. I'm programming a game in C++ with, well, it should be the other way around. A game in Unreal Engine 5 with C++. I want to add the mapping context that I created in the editor. And where do I want to add the mapping context? Mapping context in the player controller class. I could also ask it in Spanish. I think it will work the same. I want to add the mapping context that I created in the editor and put it and add, add it through code in the player controller class. Okay, let's see what it tells me. And from earlier tests, for sure, I had to be very specific. Otherwise, it's going to just think whatever it wants and do do it like it likes. And it usually tend to add things in the tick or just put everything in only one class. So okay, review existing player. Does it say? It has been updated to load the mapping context asset and add it. What? My begin play. There's there's nothing here, dude. Player controller class has been added. Yeah, let's approve it. Yeah, do it. Read multiple files. Yeah, sure. Is it actually gonna do it for me? This part, I only test this tool to to check and ask it questions on how to structure games, and it actually did it for me. That's actually cool. Right. So yeah, it's like a copilot type of thing, or cloud, or cursor. Let me just actually increase this. Begin play defaults on the input mapping context. Okay. This will be what I can set up in the player controller class in blueprints. Yeah, save it. Oh, I didn't check. Oh, it didn't do anything there. Okay, what's next? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna change my begin play in the C++? Which it should be. Yep, yep. It added the needed components, the subsystems. Begin. If it's not there, we just return it. I mean, it looks really fine, and if it's saving me time, then okay, I'll use it. Right, so it just did it for us, the magic of uh, using the actual AI for good, right? I will never ask the AI to build something completely because it's gonna get it wrong in so many areas. But just, for example, this part, you don't really need to be a genius. You just need to read the documentation to okay, what do I need? It's getting the local player. I mean, yeah, you could get the local player. Why not? Get the subsystem and checking if it exists, and then adding the mapping context is really standard stuff. I, well, it's adding these two contexts. These two includes, which I don't need right now. I could just delete it. Probably I'm going to bind this later on to do something, which should actually be the next step. If I approve this, what what happens? Oh, oh, I think it's redoing the task. Well, right now, let's save. I will save the map. It's driving me crazy. New folder, maps. Here, I'll just save the current level, put it in my folder. This will be test level. Yes, otherwise, every time I use the shortcut for saving everything, which is Ctrl Shift S, It's going to ask me, hey, do you want to save the map? Do you want to save the map? Oh, it just checked that what it did was correct. Okay. I want to bind the input actions called the input action actually should be action. How did I call it? And I'm just using the same name. It's not going to to get the actual file here. You will see how it works. So I want to bind the input action I created in the editor. So maybe it's called movement input action. I created in the editor so I can move my character. Forward, backwards, right and left. Take in consideration and yeah, now we are in programming mode, in prompting mode, in consideration that what should it take in consideration that I made that the value type that the value type of my input action is axis 2D. So let's start that task and let's read the chat while this is working. What kind of game are you working on? This will be a multiplayer type of battle arena. Like we have wizards that can shoot fireballs, and yeah. What's this? Yeah, sure. I mean, we're just testing stuff, so I don't mind. I do the same manually in other way. Yeah, I mean, doing it manually, of course, it will work. I'm just trying to see if this actually will save me time or not. Because here I just need to add, no, where is it? Player controller, I just need to add my move type of function. Once I do that, I can put and bind in the setup um, in the setup input just so it's actually being used. Now, to test that this is actually being used, if we want to, which I do want to do it, I just need to go here and search for enhanced input, show debug enhanced input, and we can see if it has been added. If it hasn't been added, then it means that I have not compiled my project, which I think I haven't. Now, the other tool that you can use is the AI prompt that comes with the engine, which, as I said before, I don't have it enabled. I should. The AI assistant. Before restarting, I'll just compile very quickly. Come on, you can do it. Perfect. Let's just restart it now. Yeah, and if it's going to give me an error, then might as well do it myself, right? And I believe the shortcut was Alt F1. And here you could ask it like, hey, how do I uh, bind input actions from the enhanced input system in my player controller class? Like, just asking it and see what it tells me. I'll just reopen. Ooh, I don't want to continue if it's going to crash my thing. Let me just go to my player controller, which I think. Okay, because I have been hot reloading stuff or live coding stuff. I need to make sure that I also build it. Otherwise, those are just patches on top of the engine. Now I do need to find, where did I put this? There we go. Now we should have all the classes. Oh, and I closed it. Well, I could probably find my other chats. But I will need to log in. Let me just not do that right now. I can't continue. Of course I cannot continue. Let me just log in super quick. My password is this one. Hopefully you are not reading it. Let's sign in. And while I'm putting my password, let's just, of course, there's a mail there. A mail that doesn't arrive that quickly. Yeah, I just run an ad, so no one loses anything or misses anything while I'm just logging in here. Yeah, so part of this experiment was showing new developers that C++ is not that hard, and especially if you're starting out and you don't have a clue, you just need to ask stuff. Ask stuff. Here in my player controller, let's just use the mapping context that I had. And if you don't know how to do anything, like more interesting than just using the Epic Developer Assistant and it giving you exactly what to do. For example, if we just ask it something generally, how can I bind input actions in my player controller class so my character can move? What is very interesting is that it's going to give you suggestions of what to do or what to check inside the documentation, and this is something that I find a lot more interesting, because here it's just giving me exactly, well, this not this is not exactly what I need. Where did it send me? Control input. Okay. My bad. First, it's thinking we're talking about UEFN. Yeah, what? Ask anything about UEFN. Why am I? Why did I got this for Fortnite? I mean, that's definitely a bug. That's super buggy. Oh, now I get the one that I wanted. That's super weird. That's super weird. Okay, it gave me the answer, but yeah, it's actually correct. Jumping, moving action. Yep, because we have created the input action here in the editor. C++ cannot read it, so we do need to set it up, so we can actually get the information we created in the editor as it says here. Like, and you can probably do it. I mean, I'm not the fastest typer there, and I would even consider myself very slow. We just need the input action. Let's just call it move action. Let's just add a reference. And I mean, we could use it. Um, should I add the reference here? The include? We can add include here, or we can forward declare it. Let me see if there's just a problem by doing some forward declaration. Forward declaration is it's just telling the compiler that there is a class called UI input component. Nope, UI input action. And then when we use it, which we will probably use here, let me just delete this. If I don't need it, if I need it, it will be auto completed again. And let's here include the input action. Great. We do need to modify it, so we need to mark it as uProperty. We don't need a blueprint read only. We just need, I believe, edits default. We save it. We compile it here in the editor. And now my player controller class should have a new property, a new field that I can fill with my input action movement that I created earlier. Now it's just a matter of binding this input action with whatever happens in my player controller. Right? Probably it will be a function, like it says here. This is already done. It did it a bit differently. Now I would trust this more than probably Open AI ChatGPT, because this assistant has been trained. So actually, let's compare it. Let's compare it. I'm actually curious. Yeah, we don't need this, this. Here, it does check that it exists, so that's good. Otherwise, you're gonna get an error. It's checking for a local player, which yeah, you can actually check because it's gonna get it here. Yeah, it's the same thing but different with more checks. Make it a little bit more safer. It's fine. It's fine. We need a setup input component. And so for that, I believe I also need to set it up here and override it. If I just type setup input component override, there it is. Thank you, Ryder, for this assistance. Really speeds things up. Oh, and I can also alt enter, generate that definition. There it is. So fast, so great. Especially for me that I'm not only a slow typer, but I'm also a clumsy typer. So yeah, now here we can actually bind the setup from here. So it's getting the enhanced input. It's asking it if we can actually get that subsystem, or well, the component, and then it's gonna use it to bind an action and handle it to, well, not just handle it, bind it to another function, which right now it doesn't exist. Yeah, I mean, we do need to create this first, otherwise I'm gonna get errors here, right? So let's create those handlers functions. Handle move. Let's go back to the H. We need the name handle movement. This needs to be it doesn't return anything, so void should be fine. Yeah, void is fine. If input action value, that's the thing that I'm gonna get, or well, that thing that it's giving me as an input, so I can move the character around. So if input action value, let's create this function. Here it is. Let's actually bind it. It was getting get enhanced. Oh, it's not gonna let me do it the easy way. Let's just put this here just so I can have it as a reference. I mean, there's no way that I, with my poor ability to remember stuff, will remember exactly what it says here. So yeah, for sure, if you have the documentation at one side, also that's pretty good. Yeah, so we need that you enhanced input component. This will be a pointer to the actual object. Let's just call it enhanced input. See, I can type input, and let's just cast to the u enhanced input component. And my player controller class already have this property, this variable that holds my input component. We are just checking that we are using the enhanced input. And it's giving me something to autocomplete just to check. Oh, what did I do? Just to check if this is valid or not. If it's not valid, then I don't need it, and we we can close that there. Okay, so let's bind the stuff. We need to bind the, how did I call it? Move action. So let's check if the move action exists. If move action, then we do things. What are we gonna do? Oh, and I remember I used to program. Does it? Okay, it autocorrect it like this, and I'm not gonna change the default values right now. I mostly usually I leave my brackets here. Some people really hate that, but it is what it is. So let's just get the enhanced input. Let's bind. No suggestions. Why though? Oh. Remember I deleted this? Okay, it's time to add it. To add it here. Let's just include enhanced input component. Here it is. Now we don't have a problem. Enhanced input. Let's just bind the action. The action should be, what is it asking? The move action, the input action, move action. The trigger event. So the trigger event should be started ongoing, I think, right? What does this tell me? Triggered. The U object will be, well, this class, and the f name of the function will be my, well, this class. Let's just put it like this, and let's then just change it to this should be, did I call it handle movement? Handle movement, there we go. Yeah, and we can close it like this. Now it's giving me an error. It says there's no viable function. We have the function right here. So why is it telling me this no viable function? Let's just finish it, and then we can actually do some stuff. Right. So where are we? Here. Okay. We have the, oh, I didn't give it a name. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. And what it recommends is something like this. And I can move it like that. And now that my input has a name, then I can use the handle movement. Ugh. So let's create a movement direction. F vector to D. Movement vector value get this should be an F vector, and that's pretty much it. I mean, for the direction. To actually add the movement, I will need to get the own control pound. Shit, control Get pound. Am I not in the gameplay controller? See, I constantly forget names. Player controller. Control. There we go. Get control pound. Player controller. It's time to ask for help. I want to add the input in my uh, how was it called here? Movement input. That's what I wanted. I want to add movement input in my player controller to my control bound in C++. And let me read the chat. Oh, there's a question there, which I just read. Can you make a boomerang as a weapon that can stun enemies and grab coins to collect? Okay, that's a super a super ask. I'll answer it for you, and I will give you a little bit of a head start, right? So before I enter that, let me see if I missed anything else. I do the same manually. That's why I don't trust live coding. I just compile manually using development task in VS Code. I mean, for me, it's a small price to pay. Usually, when something goes wrong, just closing and opening the editor works good enough. Remember, that's a pointer, so class name of the variable. Yeah, yeah. I should have read the chat also. Do AI IDEs like Cursor and Windsurf work with Unreal? I don't think so, actually. For me to get something working, like I showed, I had to run VS Agent here in Rider, then connect it to mock chat mock, and there I can actually connect it with any AI model, which are running on a local server. It will help enhance the input by action. Yep, that's it. That's exactly what I needed to do, Patricio. That's exactly it. I'm from Chile. ¿Cómo estamos? ¿Qué tal? So yeah, just so I finish this and answer the boomerang question, because I mean it was a goal and the person reached the goal. Let's just finish it and it's just get pound. Okay. Okay. I didn't know. So used to doing stuff in blueprints that's what I get. Get pound. Add movement input. This is going to ask me for the world direction. I can probably put my vector here. If I mean if it if it's not working, I can create a new one. F vector um, world direction. This will be my movement vector. Yeah, it was like that. Movement vector x, movement vector y, and just zero in C. I mean, should be fine. And is this a double? Is this a, yeah, 0.0f? That's what that's what was expecting it for it to autocomplete. Or direction, just let's use it here. Scale value 1. And the rest, let's just leave it like this. Let's just save, compile, and finish this so I can answer the other question. Oh, oh, yeah. My bad. My bad, my bad. Um, let's just let's just call it control and return if we can find it. And finally, we can where is it? Controlled pound. It was that, right? Or was it something else? Well, I think it was something else. Handle movement. Overload function. Name. I forgot. Yeah, it's not going to give me anything. I believe I forgot to mark it. Was that it? To match. Yeah. Yeah, that one is on me. So we can move the character. Woo! If my character is not actually following the player, the camera, or the movement, it's because I guess I didn't tell it to. Rotation. Use controller rotation. Oh, orient rotation to movement. There we go. I guess not. Was I supposed to also here in the camera set control rotation when viewed? I mean, almost there. Was it inherit? Nope. Rotation. Use controller desire rotation. Use controller rotation yaw. I could probably remove this. So yeah, it's just removing this. So it can actually rotate to the movement. Yeah, there we have it. There we go. Then now we can finally answer the question about the boomerang thing. Yeah, so should I do it in this project? Yeah, I can probably do it super quickly. So what to organize yourself whenever you want to create something is a very useful tool to try to draw it or try to um, have a direction on where to start, right? So let me just use, I can use Photoshop, or I could use the whiteboard, and I'll connect this thing so I can write on it, and I will turn my prompter glasses off. Blank canvas. Oh, this white background is too much for me. Okay, so we have this. And just so everything, everyone knows what am I answering, is this question. And okay, how can I make it happen? A boomerang as a weapon that can stun enemies. So let's think about it a little. You're talking about weapons. If we have a player, that player has a character, which, let me just increase this, and there we go. This player has a character. That character can be anything. In this case, I'm assuming it's just a biped character, so it is actually a character class. So we have the character, right? And if we want to type anything here, this will be the character. Here, perfect. Character class. This means that in your character class, you can add the boomerang weapon. Now, to add the boomerang weapon, there are a lot of ways you can do it. If you will always have this boomerang, you could probably just spawn it on the fly, or just spawn it once, which would be better, hide it, and enable it or show it whenever you use it. So it's like the boomerang is here, but you can't actually see it until you use it. The other way is having a variable that holds all the weapons that you have, like a weapon inventory, and there you could have the boomerang, and this is my drawing of a boomerang. Maybe you have a gun, or maybe even a sword, right? And that's a very badly drawn sword, but you get what I mean. So you would need to worry about an inventory of weapons that you can actually use. You will need to select the current weapon, and with a function that will actually use the current weapon, depending on which one is selected, you probably just want an integer or a enum to know which weapon is selected. If my int is 0, it means the first weapon in my inventory. So yeah, let's say we have already done that, but that's like the background you need to take in consideration when you're talking about weapons. Okay, you tell me I have that. I can pick up weapons, I can save them in my inventory. Great, I can use it. Okay, what does it mean to use it? If you're doing it like this, you will probably, or well, even if you're not doing it like this, you will want the boomerang class. So let's just actually copy this text. Whoops, not that one. How do I copy this here? Like this. Okay, let's redo the test. This whiteboard is not the best, I think, for doing this. So you have the boomerang class, which this class, more than likely, it will be an actor class. This actor will hold the mesh of the boomerang and the collision. You don't really want to use the collision of any mesh. You I mean, even though the boomerang may look like this, and let's give it a stripe because it's cool. Um, you don't want this mesh to be the collision of your object because that mesh can change. And then if you change it to a mesh that doesn't have any collision, you need to do it again. Also, depending on how you create this collision, it could be very costly for the performance of the game. When you only want to know when it touches something, you could probably create a collision that is more simple, like, okay, even though it has this shape, I want this collision to be like this. It really depends on how perfect you need the collision to be. Not always you need to be stuff to be perfect. Right, so you have the collision. Let's just do sphere collision, which will be something like this if I can draw it perfectly. So if whatever thing overlaps with this means that the boomerang collided with something. Simple. That's far. Now you will need the actual movement of this boomerang and you want it to return. Now you can do it manually. That's perfect. It's logic where you just need a goal, a target location. And if you don't have a target location in mind, for example, like a specific enemy, I mean, your target location could be the player position. I was gonna put P and P, but made me laugh, so I'm not gonna do it. The player position, whoops, plus a distance, let's say 500 meters, in the direction of where you're launching the boomerang, right? So multiplied by the uh, I could call it player rotation, but sometimes if you have a game where you are moving with the WSD and you're pointing with the mouse, it's different. The player rotation is different than the actual launch rotation. Or yeah, we can call it throw and throw direction. This should give you the target location. Once you reach not exactly the target location because a lot of things can happen, then I mean, if you're near, maybe you just check the distance, like 50 units near that position. Then you can change the target location to your player. So once it reaches it, the target location will be the player location. And that's how you make it. Like, you can throw it and you can get it back. Now to move this, you just go to the tick and interpolate between the values of the target location and and your current location, and you can actually do it like that. You can also use a timeline. I would prefer to use a timeline so I can always make sure that my boomerang, okay, I launch it, and after 1 second or maybe half a second, always it will reach the end, and then it will come back to me. And it will be even easier because I would just need to make it um, uh, instead of playing forward, I would need to reverse it, and that's pretty much it. That's for the location. If you don't want to do it manually, there exists a component called the, and this one I will type it, projectile component. And this projectile component has a lot of things that you can tweak, like the initial impulse. You can make it a homing projectile. So you can set up, okay, the target location is here, so home into this position. And then when it reaches it, you change the new goal location. So you can also do it like that. So that's for the boomerang movement. Stunning enemies. Okay, in the boomerang class, again, you will need to use this sphere collision to check every time it overlaps something. Whenever you overlap something, then you need to check is it an enemy, is it a coin, or whatever it is, right? So here, enemy. If it is an enemy, then stunning it could, maybe you could disable the input, disable input for, let's say, 0.3 seconds, and also play stun animation. If it's not an enemy, I can probably put it here. It will be an if statement, or what could, if you have different type of things, you can make it a switch case with an enumerator. If it's an enemy, if it's not an enemy, excuse me, we check. Okay, is it a coin? Now, if you have a lot of stuff here, if it's a coin, you just attach coin to boomerang actor. And with this type of handwriting, I probably could have become a doctor. So if you have a lot of stuff here, like enemies, coins, boxes, whatever, you will probably want to create an interface. And inside that interface, we can call it um, interactions or boomerang interactions or whatever. Or weapon. Yeah, could probably be weapon interactions. You can just call it on overlap or on collide or something, or start collision. I don't know. You give it the name, and then you just need to, oh, on overlap. Whatever I overlap, I send this weapon interaction on overlap interaction. And then you just need to implement this in any coin or in any enemy and do this code here. So that's how I would go about doing what you ask, the boomerang as a weapon that can stun enemies and grab coins to collect. So let me start another new goal in case someone has another question. I mean, if you would want me to program that, uh, I won't. It will take time. I mean, I just want to test the multiplayer thing, or well, at least throw in a fireball. So hopefully that answered the question. And again, I will try to answer with priority if someone feels the goal. So where were we in our other project? And how long have I been streaming right now? Can I see it? An hour and a half. Okay, I have half an hour inside of me to do stuff productively. Otherwise, I will know what will happen. Right. So we have our player. We can move it around. This player is using the gameplay cameras, which right now I don't need. And now what I want to do is create the projectile, the fireball, that I will be using. Right? So to do it quickly and to test it, because I won't remember the names in C++, and later on we can pass it to C++ if needed. What I will need to do is create a projectile class. So let's come here. It's an actor. It will be projectile, because maybe I want to also add other types of projectile. So let's create the class. And let me check the chat also. I have a question. What did you study at university? I studied Java and C++ by myself, but I'm still an amateur. Okay, I studied um, computer science at, you probably know this university, UPC, and it gave me foundational knowledge for programming, but oriented to games, everything that I know, the most useful stuff I learned it on the internet, on YouTube, on courses, and forums. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt if you want to study there. It's not it's not going to make you magically into a good programmer or to a good nothing. To get better, you just need to study the foundations. You need to spend some time, and not only coding, but if you want to use Unreal, take a look at the gameplay framework. Take a look at how the engine runs. Not You don't need to understand how it runs, but just as a high level concept, like, okay, what happens when I start the game? Okay, the game instance gets created, that loads the level, and the level will load the game mode. The game mode will load these other classes, the player character, the controller, and so on and so forth. Like, having that knowledge really helps you a lot to debug, to create, and to do a lot of things. Yeah, so I created my projectile class. Excuse me a minute. I need to answer this. Yeah, so we should have the projectile here. Let's create a folder for this. Projectile should be blueprint class, my projectile, and we can call it fireball. Inside of it, I will have nothing. So I will need to add the mesh. I will need to um, add the collision. It's the same setup as the boomerang I was just explaining it. So yeah, I mean you can actually see it. Um, if you want to do it in blueprint, like sphere collision, inside the sphere, and I would make this the sphere collision the parent. Then I will add the mesh, which I mean, no, not a cube, a sphere. A sphere is fine, and let me call it sphere collision. Oh, come on, I'm fumbling. This one. Let me just scale it a little bit. Yeah, it's fine. And finally, I will add the projectile movement. Now, all my projectiles will use this projectile movement. And it's getting so many messages. All my fireballs, all my projectiles will use this projectile movement. So I will add the projectile movement in C++. I don't want to add my sphere collision in C++ or the sphere in C++ because I don't know if my projectile will actually be a sphere. Maybe I want a projectile that is a line, and I would be using a box collision. I don't know. So I will only add the projectile movement. Now to do that, we do need to go here, the projectile. I do want to add, let's add it later here. The U projectile movement component. Add a forward declaration. And this will be the projectile movement component. That's good. Does it autocomplete? Document. Nope. Okay, I do need to add a U property before I forget. And this one is not input. This one is visible. Oh. Actually, it should be visible anywhere. Yeah. Let's just not get visible anywhere. Category projectile, and we do need to create it in my project. So here, movement project. How did I call it? Projectile movement component. Projectile movement component. Create default subobject. That's that's what you need to do. Here I do need to declare the projectile movement component. Did it do it for me? Yes. And the text, uh, projectile movement. Here I'm missing this. And I don't think I need to connect it to anything. I could set up things here. I'm not gonna set up things here. I much prefer to change the values inside blueprints. So now let's save everything just in case something goes wrong. And let's compile the changes. Great, we have it here. We have the projectile movement that I created and the projectile movement that is inherited from my base class. Here we have it. Here we have the properties. We should be able to modify them. And this fireball, just to test things, I want the initial speed to be 300. And just to test things, in my player character, I'll just debug it super quickly. Debug, right click, debug, key, here it is, debug key, right mouse button. And I'm going to spawn the character, which is my fireball. The spawning will be my actor location. The actor location, I'm going to add it. Make literal float. I want it to be 100 units in front of me. Then I'm gonna get the forward vector, get actor forward vector, and I'm going to multiply it with this, and this is the value that I'm gonna add. This will be the location, and the rotation should be the actor forward vector. And there we have it. Let me dock that to the cyber. Oh, and if the nodes auto do it things and rearrange themselves, I'm using the blueprint assist plugin, which I usually I never wanted to auto format. I want to press the button, but I'll just put it on the format new created. Like if this is like this, I press the format button and then we have it. Okay, so let's test it. So there we have it. We have the firewall going to somewhere. It will be just a matter of. And did I change something? My camera is super close. Let's just put it a little bit farther away. Super easy. To test it, I mean, we need another player, which I'll just put here. The fireball, the project movement, I'm just gonna make it stop when it touches something. Should bounce. Nope. Here is the homing part that I was mentioning about to the answer of the boomerang. Here you can actually click. Oh, it's a homing projectile, and the acceleration it will have to the for the magnitude. Let's check. Let's check what happens if I hit something. Oh, it's making it move because my sphere has has collision. Yeah, let's remove the collision of my sphere. This one, I'll make it block all, block all. Yeah, for now, let's just test it, blocking it all. Oh, and you can see, actually, it's falling to the ground because it has gravity. Otherwise, it wouldn't fall down to the ground. Only that we cannot appreciate it here. Now, my camera is using this second player. So just so I don't need to do much stuff here, I'm going to copy my player and just call it AI character. And inside of it, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove the gameplay camera because I don't want anything else with that camera there. Well, I guess this is still a player. There we have it. Now we are all right. Perfect. It should stop whenever it collides with something. If you don't want the gravity to affect your projectile, it's very easy. Let's just set up the projectile gravity scale 0. Then it will just go on forever. Oh, and if I'm running, oh, I don't know what. Then maybe because of the lag. Yeah, well, there we have it. There we have our projectile. We can tweak it, and to actually make it multiplayer, I mean, very quickly, I could just create a local a local player. Like here, let's just say tback key create local player. Ooh. Oh, I mean untitled figures. I'll just oop, I wanted the project settings. No, project setting maps and modes, and I will use my test level just so I don't need to open it over and over and again. Save the selected. Let's just test it. If we press T, there we have it, 2 players. This is the way that a local multiplayer game will work. This game that I want to make, I do want to make it online multiplayer, but the setup will take a little bit longer than I want to stream. So I guess this is a good place to stop. I have 10 minutes. What I also wanted to do was to actually make it so wherever I click on the level or on the map, uh, the fireball should go that way. Yeah, right. So yeah, if I can do that very quickly, then yeah, we could probably uh, see how it's going. Let's show. This is, oh no, this is my player character. I want the player controller because I want to show the mouse. I want to know where my mouse is in order for me to click on stuff. Show mouse cursor. We have the mouse. We can move around, but we still have the mouse. Perfect. We need an input action that is actually clicking on the terrain. So we go to input. We go to input again, input action. Um, Mouse target, could it be? But yeah, yeah, let's call it mouse target. If I was using a controller, probably I would use the thumbstick, so it wouldn't make sense for it to use the mouse target. Uh, Target or mouse click, too generic. Mouse target confirm. That's a better name. I only want to trigger it once when it's pressed. In my mapping context, I want to AI mouse target confirm. This should be the left mouse because my debug thing is using the right mouse button. Do I need to do something in the fireball? I think not. Okay, let me just clean a little bit of my bar. Right. So to actually click and get the information, we can input action mouse target confirm. I believe there's a node or a function that was called under cursor under get player get controller cast to player controller. Oh, I don't need this one. Here I need get cursor, get hit result under cursor by channel. Let's put it visibility hit result is gonna give us a location, and just to test it should be draw debug sphere. Could also be a point, but it will be easier to see if it's a sphere. This should be red. Duration, let's just give it 10 seconds just to test. The center, let's break this. Oh, I'm definitely disabling this auto thing. Yeah, I only want to format when it's done. Location will be the center. And that's pretty much it. With that, I have a point, and I can send the location, excuse me, the direction uh, of my fireball that way. And that's what we're gonna do. From this location, we're gonna find the direction, get unit direction from, well, this should be the to, and the from is the get actor location. Now, if I just connect it like this, it's gonna work, but not exactly what I want. Or maybe it's not gonna work at all. Oh, I didn't, I didn't connect it. My bad, my bad. So it's working, but not exactly because my player is here and my point is in the ground. So it's going downwards. I just need to zero out the direction in the z axis. So we can make, nope, not this one. This one. We can split. We want the jaw. We want the pitch. We don't want the pitch. We want the roll. There we have it, but for some angles, like downwards, because it's spawning always in front of me. Yeah, we also need to change that very easily, I think. Does that work? Yeah, that worked. And now we have it like I was hoping to have it. Now, for me to pass it to C++, I would want to formalize a few things. Like, for example, okay, clicking here will spawn. I don't always want it to be a fireball. I just want to spawn a projectile of my choice. But that's why I'm not gonna do it right now. I want to structure it better, a little bit better on my head, and then we can actually do it. So, oh no, rip the grip. Ah. There it is. Nothing happened here. Oh, it did happen again. No, it's falling over. Oh, it fell down. So let me just uh, end the stream before my setup falls apart. Now that we actually did a lot of stuff, we used the AI tools to autocomplete a lot of code. I'll work on this if I'm feeling like it. And right now it's pretty fun. So probably next stream I will have something a little bit more advanced. Or not that advanced, but I mean more complete, right? So let me just sign off because this is falling apart. Thank you for being here, and give us a like, give us a follow, a subscribe, hit the bell, and make sure to, well, become a member. It really helps us a lot in our quest to do more free tutorials and share more information. So yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.